What's up, baby?
Hey, hey. So you know what? I started off like really disagreeing with you, right? Because I came in and I heard what you were saying, criticizing her, and I was like, you know what? I think the approach is a little too harsh. Because I've seen so many people kind of dunk on her, but the last few 10 minutes of you speaking to the other young lady that was before me, you
Hmm.
said everything that I actually agree with. I
Okay.
actually agree with it. My criticism initially was I just feel like when it comes to Christian women, and I don't go to church and I've kind of separated myself from that, but I know that when it comes to Christians, period, they receive really harsh criticisms for being out of touch with reality. And I think that that was her issue. She was out of touch with reality. She admitted that she was an awkward black girl. She went to an all white school, so she was kind of out of touch. She went to a HBCU,
Well,
you know,
she was a
university or
Christian though. She
college.
didn't become a Christian until 2018, or no, I'm sorry,
Right. So you
after
put
2008, after they had already got married.
Correct. So you put those two together, that history that she has being an awkward black girl, and then you put the disillusion of reality with being like a super strong Christian, it's
Hmm.
a recipe for disaster. So I feel like a lot of people who don't understand what church can do to someone,
Hmm.
you know, when you're super like zealous, they're criticizing her from not understanding like what happens when you become so out of touch with reality and delve yourself too much into the spiritual realm.
I
So,
agree.
you know, that was my initial
So
criticism
you
for
was about
you,
to have
but
smoke for me, but you ain't got no smoke for me now.
I did. Yeah, I was about to have smoke because, you know, I put accountability on her as well because she knew who he was, but
Yep.
I don't want us to deviate from the fact that he was trifling. You know what I mean?
I don't think he was
But
trifling.
well,
I don't think
I
he was
think he was
trifling.
trifling.
How
Let
was
me
he
tell you why I
trifling?
think
How
he
was he
was
trifling, D?
trifling. It's a difference when you show up as who you are, but then
Hmm.
it's a different when you promote yourself. Like a lot of people know Derrick Jaxn is how he showed up on YouTube. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Clout chasing and doing all the things that he was doing, and
Hmm.
then only for it to be exposed that you're not really what you promote. So that's why I say you're trifling because you're cognitively aware of what you're doing.
How
You're
was any
so
How was
aware.
any different than a rapper?
I mean, okay, so if we're gonna say that, rappers, entertainment, when you talk about TV and stuff like that, there is a
What is he
space
doing any
for
different than
you.
than entertaining?
He's literally preying on the emotions of impressionable women. You know what I mean? You're
I
not
don't
an
believe that.
entertainer.
I don't believe
That's
that.
what he did. He did do that for sure. He
I
was
don't believe it,
advising women
Darlene.
and
I'm gonna
telling
be
them what
honest
they
with you.
deserved. He was
Listen,
telling them what
Darlene,
they
do
deserved
you
and
think
stuff, and
that
he
women
wasn't
are
even
smarter
showing
than
up
men?
as that.
Do you think that women are
What?
smarter than men?
Say that again?
Do you think that women are smarter than men?
No, I don't. Let me tell you why. I
Okay.
don't think women are smarter than men because women do not really understand the nature of men. They don't respect it. They don't try to
No, I ain't
study it. They
talking
don't
about with
try to
regard to
learn it.
relationships. I'm talking about in general. Do you think that women are smarter than men?
I think that's a weird question to ask. Yeah, it's a yes and no. You know, you have some guys, their brains don't operate that well. You got
So
some
you
women,
don't
their
want to
brains don't
say it,
operate
but
that
you
well.
actually believe it.
I don't I
Do you?
don't know
Okay,
if I
let me ask you a
believe it. I think
question.
that's a weird question.
Do you think that women develop quick more? Do you think that women develop faster than men?
Um, since we're talking about the mind and we're talking about cognitive ability, I would probably say yes, but I think that the difference, right? The difference is a lot of women, I guess the way our wiring is, we're more prone to be delusional because we're so emotional.
Okay, so let
You
me
know what I
ask you a
mean?
different
And
question.
sometimes,
Let me ask you a different question.
hmm
Can you tell um, when a dude just want to fuck you?
yes,
You can tell.
but I'm not delusional. That's the thing. I understand the
Whoa, whoa,
nature of
whoa,
men.
whoa, 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 Darlene, Darlene.
I'm serious.
How are you any different than any other one? How come you so smart? How come you so wise? How come you can use your intuition?
I'm a
How
I'm
can you make
I'm a
better decisions,
student.
but your comrades
Because
can't?
I'm a student. I've been a student of life. And for me, one thing about me, I think what preserved me was my ego. I never wanted to fall from grace. I never wanted to fall from my glory. So I knew
What does that have to do with being with other women, not inherently knowing who it is that they dealing with? Y'all listen. I don't believe for 1 second that women in general don't genuinely know who it is that they're dealing with before they deal with them.
I feel like women do know, but that's the disillusion part that I'm telling you. Most women are delusional. So
How?
for me, I didn't, because they think that they can change someone, and there's a level of pride that makes them, if you don't feel special within your own self, you're going to want someone else to christen you as special. So you go after the person you're really not compatible with. Like you said to the other young lady, it's like, instead of realizing, like, acknowledge who you really are. If you're a cornball, you're a cornball. Nothing's wrong with that. So don't try to go for the jock. If you're a cornball, you're going to get dragged.
But
And
here's the
for me, I
thing.
always knew.
But to be delusional, you would have to have some false sense of of who you are, identity, right? And so,
Exactly.
but that would mean that you didn't think that you was a cornball when you knew you was going for the jock.
And that's where the disillusion comes into place. Most
No,
women are delusional.
she knew. And in the case of Denia Jackson, she admitted in the first part that she was the cornball.
Yeah, but you heard what she said too. She said that she looked at herself like, "Oh my gosh, girl, like look at you. You got this, you got him." So that's the level of pride that goes into it, thinking like, "Okay, he's pursuing you and you're chubby, you got pimples on your face, you're a cornball, and he's giving you this much attention. Y'all talking this much on the phone. He said he want to get married to you." There's a level of delusion that comes into play. You know what I mean?
I don't think
And
so.
it's not to dissolve,
I
it's
think
not
she
to,
know
I think we're
exact.
saying,
I think every last one of y'all know exactly who you are,
but
where
this,
y'all
I feel like
stand.
we're saying the same thing. I say,
Nope.
when I say a woman is delusional, I'm not absolving her of her accountability of recognizing that. I'm just saying she believed more in the false reality than actual reality.
I don't
You
think
get what
so.
I'm
I
saying?
think that she is very rooted and grounded of exactly who it is that she is, where she was, where she stood, um, and how it is that she operated. She just didn't want to lose what she had, whether that was the bag, whether it was good D, whether it was status, the whole 9 yards. I don't think that it had anything to do with delusion whatsoever. I think it had everything to do with a conscious decision of making sure that she was provided and protected, and that she wanted that thug in a suit.
I don't think she was that calculated to think of her future as far as from a
Oh,
financial standpoint. I think
calculated.
she was emotionally damaged
Nope.
and clinged herself to a guy. Yeah, that's what I think. You know,
I
I don't
think
think
that
she
you
was that
looking at.
smart
I
to.
think you looking at a chameleon.
Oh, okay. So if you feel that way, then I can understand why you dunking on her the way you are. You
I
are.
think that you looking at a chameleon. I think that the easiest way for women to get over and get support from other women is to A, get hurt, and then B, lean into
Mm-hmm.
God and their righteousness and the righteousness of God in order it's I think it's a chameleon. I think you looking at the
Usually, but you're right.
final
But
level.
usually, women.
This is the final
You're right.
boss. We looked at
But
Derrick
this what I
Jaxn
gotta
as
say.
you hold on, Darlene. You know what I see, honestly, and I could be wrong, but I
Mm-hmm.
doubt it, right? What you're seeing right now in certain movies, let's take like one of the bad movies of the Fast and Furious, right? One of the like the 7, 8, 9s or whatever. What you would see a lot of times is a guy, and he would be the face, but he wouldn't necessarily be the boss, and the boss would be hiding in
Mm-hmm.
plain sight. And so, actually, the person that's doing all of the little manipulating and all of the things that's happening and what you're seeing happening out in plain sight is usually the final boss. It's not the guy that's being projected. It's not the guy with the big muscles and the visibility and he's on the cover and he's the one that's selling all of the books. It's not that. It's the person that's usually
Mm-hmm.
behind the scenes that's determining the fate of everything else and they plan on the emotions and then they most of the time they're the ones that's going to come out on top. I think she's the final boss.
The reason why I don't think she's as a chameleon as you're saying is because normally chameleons aren't transparent. They deflect a lot. And what we seen in her interview, I didn't watch the second part and I didn't watch the first full interview, is a woman that was completely transparent. Even if it made her look crazy, it's almost like she just was just honest. So that's why I think like chameleons usually aren't honest. They lie. but she was honest. So I'm not
You
saying,
think so,
she
huh?
innocent, because she was saying things that's embarrassing. Like, who would actually admit stuff like
That's the
that if you
way
was
that
a chameleon?
you get the best results. What you talking about?
I just don't think she was.
She did the
I don't
Eminem
think.
on 8 Mile.
I just don't think she was that smart to be a chameleon. Usually, chameleons are psychotic. They calculate it. They know what they're doing, and they always play the victim. I mean, I'm not saying she's not playing the victim, but I don't think she is that smart to be a chameleon.
We gonna find out. Time will tell. I'm open to the possibility that I'm wrong. Thank you,
The
Darlene.
only thing,
Go
yeah,
ahead. Go
the
ahead. You
only
got
thing
other
I,
thoughts?
yeah, yeah, I was just gonna say the only thing is for me, because I used to go to church and I stopped going to church a while ago because I just realized like something about this is just off, right? Is that I do notice that people like to dunk on Christians, and it is embarrassing when you say, the things that she said is embarrassing.
Hmm.
But I do think that a lot of people aren't seeing what she's saying because they're judging the fact that she was a super zealous Christian.
Well, um, you got to be responsible for the image that you paint, and you can't remove yourself from accountability on that front either, though.
That's true. That's true. And Derrick is not innocent. That dude is a sociopath. That's what I think.
I don't think
An
he's a
honest one.
sociopath. I think he. I'm not saying that he's innocent. Nah, I wouldn't go that far.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that he never switched up from what he really was. Um, the
Okay.
only people that got fooled into this is the women. Y'all the only ones that got fooled. Nobody else was fooled by
That's
it. All
true.
of the guys already said it. We had already knew what the game was.
Right. Right.
He got his bag, but y'all were the only ones that was fooled. Wasn't nobody else fooled.
I definitely from day one I was like, man, get this guy off the screen. Why are people paying attention to him? So when it came out to be what it was, I was hoping that a lot of women would see they would see the reality of themselves being more prone to delusion when they're not, honest about who they are, what they need versus what they want, like you said. So
Yeah. All right. Well,
yeah.
thank you, Darlene. I rock with you.
Thank you.
All
All
right.
right.
Bye
Have a good
bye.
day.